Hello everyone, welcome to my crochet channel. In this video I will show you how to crochet the 6 most common crochet stitches. These stitches are the must-know stitches that you will see in virtually every crochet pattern. So whether you're a beginner or someone who hasn't crocheted in a long time, these are really good foundational skills for improvement. In this tutorial I'll go over the 6 essential stitches as well as a few tips for beginners. First thing you want to do is select your yarn, and right on the yarn package you will see some recommendations for the size of either knitting needles or crochet hooks that you should use for that yarn. It's a guidance, it's a recommendation. You don't have to use that size. In my opinion, the size of the crochet hook really depends on how big you want your loops, and I'll go over that a little bit more as we go along in the video. So for this yarn I've selected a 4mm hook, and it's because I like to have a little bit more relaxed tension on my work and a little bit bigger loops. So to start off, I'm going to make a row to show you the first stitch. It's going to be our chain stitch, and we're going to start by just making a loop. So just loop the yarn like you would to just make a little knot, fold over the yarn from the middle and just pull it through, and voila, you've just made a little slip knot. This is going to be our starting point. And I'll show you the best practice for how you hold the yarn and the crochet hook. You're going to pinch this little tail that we've made between your middle finger and your thumb, and you're going to hold the yarn with your index finger like this. Just have it over, you're going to hold on to it like that. Have it over your index finger. The crochet hook in that loop, you're going to grab the yarn. This is referred to as yarning over. So yarn over and pull the yarn through that loop. That is what's called a slip stitch, or a chain rather. This is our chain stitch. We're going to start by making just a little piece of work to show you the different stitches here, and I'm going to try to just keep a nice relaxed tension on this as I go, and you can see how I do the different stitches. So we're going to continue with a chain of 10. I just did 1. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is what a chain stitch, a row of chain stitches looks like. It looks kind of like a little braid. And this is like a foundation row. This is going to be how you start almost every pattern that requires horizontal rows. This is what you're going to end up with. You'll have a little tail here at the end. Don't worry about that for now. We'll talk about that in another video, how you can get rid of that. So we've got 10 stitches here, and I want 10 in each row that I make. So what that means is I have to build on top of that, and I'm not going to lose any stitches. So this will make sense as I go. I'm going to chain one more. This little chain that I just made on the end, giving me 11, that actually counts as the stitch for the second row of stitches, and I'll explain why here. So we're going to forget that first loop from before, and our first stitch, our first row of single crochet stitches is going to start with this loop here. And a single crochet looks like this. You start with your loop, put the hook into that stitch that you want, yarn over, pull the yarn through. You'll have 2 loops over your hook, yarn over again, and pull through both of those loops. That's a single crochet stitch. I'll show you again. Put the crochet hook through the next loop in our line here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, and pull through those 2. Put the hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the next 2. And this is what our single crochet stitches are starting to look like. Uniform and easy. So go into the next stitch with the crochet hook, yarn over, pull through, and just keep on going down the line. And you'll see the pattern here in just a second. Don't worry if you have little gaps in the stitches, they'll even out once you get more stitches in the row, as long as you're maintaining a similar tension. Okay. At the end of our row here, this is what these single crochet stitches should look like. Pretty uniform, nice and even, and you can go ahead and count how many you have from the beginning. From our first chain, we should have 10. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's the start of our pattern here. Nice single crochet stitches. We always work the yarn from right to left. This becomes known as the front of our work, and this is the back. So when we start the next row, we're going to be looking at the back. We have the loop from our previous row. This next row, we're going to be doing half double crochets. I know it sounds kind of silly, half double, wouldn't that just be one? No, it's not. It's half of what a double crochet stitch is, and this is how it goes. We're going to start by chaining 1, and we're going to do just 1 because the half double crochet is still kind of a low profile stitch, and we don't need to build it up too much with yarn on the end. So that 1 chain counts as the first stitch of this row. So we're going to skip this first hole here and we're going to stitch into the next one, and that is what that looks like. When you insert the hook into the next stitch from this row going forward, it'll look like you have 2 loops on the top of the crochet hook. So for the half double crochet, we chain 1, that's our first stitch, yarn over, and then with the yarn on your hook, you're going to insert the hook into the next stitch. And that's what that should look like. Grab the yarn again, so yarn over, and then pull back through. When you come back through, you'll have 3 loops now on the crochet hook. I'm going to yarn over again and pull through all 3 of those loops. That completes that stitch. I'll do it again. Yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull back through. You have 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. That's what the stitch should look like. Do it again. We're going to keep going with our half double crochets all the way to the end, and we can count at the end and make sure that we have 10. Keeping a count is very important in any piece of work that you have. Row by row, it's really good to just go back after you complete a row and check your work. Save you a lot of time and headaches as you keep going. Okay, so if we count our stitches, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we need to do 1 more. When you get to the end of a row like this, sometimes it can be a little tricky to see where that next stitch is going to go into. So what I like to do is just find the top of the last stitch from that row, and without any yarn, just put the hook through it and just kind of pull it up so it's easy to see. And it can be kind of tricky when it's a little loose still at the end. You'll get the hang of it though, as with more practice. the yarn I'm using is 100% cotton, and it likes to separate. The more you work it, the more it frays. So there's our last loop. Made the hole a little bit more visible there. So I'm going to yarn over, go through that last loop, yarn over again, and then pull through all three. Try to. There. And then I just completed my row of half double crochets, and that's what we have right now. Pretty nice uniform rows of crochet stitches. Now we're going to start the next row with double crochets, so you can see the difference there. The double crochet stitch is a higher profile. It just means that it's a taller stitch. It builds up the row a little bit more than the others. I'm just going to start it by chaining 2 to get our higher profile, and that chain 2 counts as our first stitch of the row. We're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over again, pull through 2, yarn over again, and then pull through the last 2. That is a double crochet. I'll do it again. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. And you can see the difference in the profile of the stitches there, the height. The double crochet is a nice stitch if you want to